Theme song for the Gear Podcast. That was a big one. I was onto it for a bit and then I went all out of tune. So I just kind of improvised at the end. How are you, Uncle Leon?
Bloody ripper, mate. I like the David Coverdale into Scott Stappness of the theme song for this week. And thank you to everybody who continues to subscribe to and watch the Gear Podcast and enjoy the unlimited variations on the theme song that Big Dog T is dissing up.
Mate, just got to keep trying. Just keep running up that hill until you find one that sticks. You watched the end of Stranger Things, by the way, or that the latest 4 episodes?
I've watched 3 of them. So
what do you reckon?
They're like, the actors are all really old for 7-year-olds, aren't they?
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't like the first episode, but I think it was okay. I think so far.
Yeah, it's like everything, I guess, because it's a long season with 1 million hours of content. Hard to judge it by the first 45 minutes. I wasn't super into the first episode, and I was like warming up to it sort of as it went on. But yeah, I don't know, the feel is definitely different, isn't it?
Yeah,
which I get. It's, it's a pending apocalypse kind of vibe, but yeah, it sort of doesn't have the same glow that maybe the first couple of seasons had.
Well, mate, it's like you're going from Doc and breaking the chains to Doc and back for the attack. It's different. If they
haven't got a George Lynch busting through a wall cameo at some point, what are they even doing? How good can the 80s references be? But it's fine. It's like, it's exactly what the words are. By now people know what to expect from that show. So it's almost like, I enjoyed the season before this. I've kind of enjoyed all of it. It's all been like, just guilt-free, enjoyable kind of stuff. So I'll probably watch the next episode in the next couple of days. So no spoilers, ladies and gentlemen, on the Gear Podcast, except for the big spoiler that we're going to talk about some guitar stuff at some point today, because there's so much stuff coming out. There's firmware updates and there's new products and there's hardware and there's software. But we both have spent the morning whittled away in our little caves demoing the latest piece of UA software, Paradise Guitar Studio. So why don't we just start right there, mate? You launch us into it.
Well, firstly, every time we do a podcast, I get more subscribers on my YouTube channel, which is Hammer Space Recording, everybody. So just I get about 30 new subs every time we do one of these. So head on over and you can watch my video on the thing we're about to talk about. But this is the thing, mate, because I'm new to YouTube, new to being a content creator influencer, which is obviously what I dreamt of being when I was a young man. A very, very young boy, as a matter of fact, coming out of mum's womb. Oh, what's that? Oh, guitar. Yeah, I want to be on the internet. But they released this product, and I'm like, let's just buy it. Let's just have a smash, roll the dice, and see what it sounds like. So, yeah, I think you and I were literally demoing it at the same time with the same idea. More specifically, I stole Michael Nielsen's idea because I watched his video and was like, oh, I might try this out. And he said you could get it for $99 with a coupon. I'm like, do I have a coupon? And I did. So, mate, I tried it out and I thought it sounded pretty good. How about you? What was your initial impression? Give me like out of 10. Give me initial impressions. Not how it sounds. Initial impressions.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll break this into 2 sections. I'll give you out of 5 before I tried it. And I'll give you out of 5 after I tried it. So I think before trying it, I was like a 2 out of 5. Like, I don't care. And then I tried it and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty sick. Like maybe a 4 out of 5. So, overall maybe a 6. But I feel like, having said that, really I should scale that up and weight it differently. So it's maybe like a 7 out of 10. And I think it's more like 7 out of a possible 8. And there was no way they could get 10 because of some of the omissions in there, which are inexcusable and show a clear anti-high gain enthusiast bias. But we'll get to that.
And what about a letter grade? So what about a letter grade then? You want to give us one of those just to cover the whole spectrum?
A letter grade.
And you love a spectrum, Leon.
Don't we just love that spectrum we're all on? Maybe a B+, a solid B+, shifting into A-.
I would say if I'm going to do the same thing as what you said, I was probably, I'd say I was a 2 out of 5 before I tried it. And then after I tried it, I was like maybe a 3.5 out of 5.
Right.
So, and I'd say I'd give it a B. As an overall experience, it's a B. I mean, the thing is, mate, I talk about this in my video, which you can go over to Hammerspace Recording YouTube channel and watch it. I'm pretty certain that, like the last 5 years, everything's good. We talk about that all the time with modelers. Everything's good. What more do you want? It's not going to sound that much better than anything else. It's going to sound a little bit different, but everything's good and everything's fine. So, like, if that's a way of measuring the product, I can't be a part of that because I don't care. I could honestly care less of what it sounds like because I know it's going to sound good. Like, honestly, and I mean, in fact, don't mention a product, but in the last like 5 years, can you think of a piece of this sort of technology that's come out and you've gone like, oh, this is rubbish, like a modeler or a plugin or something like that? Or if you can, like, give me a percentage. It's probably like how many percent? You go
maximum 5% are absolute dog shit, right? And I have tried some that are like, oh, okay, yeah, this is they spent all the budget on hype marketing and none of the budget on actually developing the product. And
so, mate, it's clearly not that hard. It's clearly not that hard anymore. I'm sure it is really difficult. Like, don't get me wrong, but man, like, what more do you want? You got Tonex, that sounds wicked. I use that all the time. You want Amplitude, that's good. Everything's fine, man. So this was going to be good because UAD make good products. Like, it's not much more to it than that. So
yeah, and people kind of like to dump on them as well. I think.
Do they really?
Yeah, it's a thing. I think because one, for a long time, it was a very closed ecosystem. You needed the UA hardware to do anything. Two, they don't have any like plugins that are $7. So obviously there's a part of the internet which is very anti that. Like, why would you actually want to recoup your money on development? And the third part is stuff like their pedals don't have good MIDI integration or good preset management, and just like a bunch of dumb shit that everyone else does. And then they came out and they were like, you silly guitar players, you don't need any of this stuff. You just... Yep. So I feel like I always, with any UA guitar product, and I wouldn't say this about their pro audio stuff, but I always just get that feeling where they're just like, you're dumb. We know better. Just a little bit. And
I mean, look, you
that's
could
just
honestly look at
suspicion.
Well, like, look at the amps that they model, though. You've got, they're all like, I mean, with the exception of the Dumble thing, they're like 60s amps. Like, it's made for, it's boomer amps. Like, respectfully.
I've seen that sort of like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're of that generation where you want to have a deluxe reverb sound because that's the amp that you gigged with, or a twin or something like that when you were younger, and you don't need all the fruit on it. It's like, that's completely fair enough. If you're into the nerdy shit like we are, and want to mess with MIDI pedals and like syncing stuff with Ableton and whatnot, it's like, yeah, it's just it's probably not going to suit. But at the same time, there's like so many other products that do that stuff. So yeah, I'm
exactly.
like I've spent a lot of money on UAD plugins, and I was talking about this with my students the other day because like it was 10 years ago, man, because remember we were recording Back to Zero 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember you buying the Apollo and describing it as like an Axe FX for pro audio.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was great. Like I had the Silverface one, the whatever that was with Firewire on it, but it sounded good. But man, I spent like this time 10 years ago, I dropped something like $1,800 on plugins for it because every plugin was so expensive. Even on sale, everything was like super expensive. So to get like the EMT 140 reverb and to get the 1176s and LA2As and all that sort of stuff, it was pricey. Now, like all that stuff was on sale for Black Friday last week. And I'm telling my students, like, yeah, you kids, you don't understand. I spent $400 on the Lexicon 480 reverb algorithm.
That's right.
Like one reverb plugin, or $440, I think it was, Australian. It's like, this stuff is so cheap now.
And yeah, $150 for a guitar plugin. It's a great deal no matter what way you look at it. Sure, there's other ways to spend $150 and get great value. But without that like longitudinal comparison to other products, it's pretty amazing. Even if it's just like, on one hand, it's a deluxe reverb, a Plexi, a Dumble, an AC30, and some other stuff. But I feel like they actually have gone out of their way to try and at least model like, we got a really good plexi, like we got a 68 plexi like Eddie's, and we got a particular year deluxe reverb, and the AC30 I think sounds really, really good. So
I like
all those kind of things. Yeah, I think that's probably the strongest, most unique one.
Yeah, I didn't play all the amps actually. I only tried the plexi, the deluxe, and the AC30 because like those are the ones I feel like I have the most experience with in the real world and using them in other platforms. So kind of felt like I knew how to dial them in. So I mean, to sort of further my point, it's like, it's limited. Sorry, I don't think I made this point at all. So I'll make it now. Small amps, like small amp collection, they're captured really well. The cabinets are also super limited. It's like one mic on one cabinet, and it's not movable. So it's not like obviously with the fractal or two notes or anything like that. You just get your sound, and that's what it is. And that sound is good. So I do appreciate that. Do one thing really well than like 100 million things, like even 50%.
Yeah, there's a law of diminishing returns with having a lot of options where, oh my God, this thing does a billion different things for $150. And well, how many of them sound good?
Yep.
Like I'd say 5 of them. And then if you just take those 5 that universally sound pretty good and cram them in there, then I guess it's like, you could look at it as limited, or you could look at it as curated, right? Like it's a bit of a tasting, it's a bit of a salami platter, right? Yep. You just got your cured meats here, you got your cheeses here, you got
quince
some
paste.
I don't know. You got some quince paste. There's always a quince paste at the end of the chain. That's a studio EQ. Just a bit of quince paste, boys. And it makes it better. And then it's kind of what you want, right? You got your deli meats platter, and you can go and enjoy your life. That's sort of what it's like. And I mean, people would spend more than $150 on a single deli meat platter, right?
Yeah, they actually would, mate.
Yeah, so absolutely. I rest my case.
Where I look at this as being, I said all this stuff in my video, but go watch that as well because that's good for me. But ignore the high gain stuff, which we'll talk about that in a second. For everything else, if you have a deluxe reverb or some Fender amp, you got some Vox amp, some Marshall amp, it pretty much is all you need. It's going to cover you for like 60% of music you'll ever play. And then you put a Strat Tele Les Paul on top of that. It's like, you're done. Like you can live with that. And so rather than flick through other plugins where the interface is kind of shit and you don't quite know where to set the knobs because they don't seem to sit normally as to where you dial them in on a real amp, and that's kind of frustrating. It's like, we'll just get one thing that does those really well and then don't think about it anymore. And I appreciate that about this plugin, and that's probably where I'll use it is, again, I said this in the video that I did, but man, I got fucking everything. Like, I don't need this. I don't need one other plugin, but one other way of making guitar sounds. But when a project comes in that's got a DO guitar sound, like usually those are the projects that need those 3 sounds. So there it is, one click, it's going to sound pretty good, and I'm going to be happy and not have to worry about it that much. So I think that's where it sits. And like, I'm really not, I was going to say before, like I spent all that money on UAD shit years and years ago, but I don't really give a shit anymore about it. I use their plugins. I really, really try to only use the native versions of the plugins because I would like to transition out of using the hardware DSP processor, because it's not, with the Mac Studio, it's just not necessary. And and it means that I have to, if I want to transport my projects to different computers, it just is quite difficult to do. So like I'm not a UAD fanboy by any stretch of the imagination. And I think this plugin is like, it's a good, useful tool. And it may be like one of the better ways of doing the thing that it does. And that's kind of what they did well away from it.
They did the song-based presets really well, which from my experience teaching people who are not professional guitar players, they want to plug in and be like, how do I get the guitar sound from ZZ Top Tush? Oh, open this plugin and there you go. And they go, wow. Even if it's not 100% accurate to the recording, as long as it's in the ballpark, how do I get the Boston guitar sound? How do I sound like Van Halen? How do I sound like War on Drugs? They're like popular things people want to do. I think as well, I bitched and moaned about the fact they've just excluded a whole demographic of players, which are like hard rock and metal players. But it's like hard rock and metal players are so represented with every other plugin. And those other plugins don't represent, well, probably the majority of the market if you're under the age of 40, which is sort of like indie music and rock, like just vague guitar, rock, and pop, where they're the people with huge pedal boards and like fun sounds where, it's not this like brutal in your face guitar sound. It's maybe a little bit more textural. Maybe it's just like a bunch of pedals with a Strat plugged into like a generic Fender amp or an AC30. And that stuff is represented and I think done really, really well. Some of the like ambient weird presets as well. I could just totally see, you're in a session, it's like, oh, we just need a layer. Oh, use that one. That's great. Do some crap on it. Done. Yep. You've got your kind of sound. I like the way they've laid it out as well, where it's not like, let's say another very excellent guitar plugin like Helix Native, right? Which has all the Helix stuff in a guitar plugin. It's pretty amazing value, but that has that like, you go down the tweakers rabbit hole thing a bit on it, where it's different blocks and stacking. And at least with this, there's a good way to do skeuomorphic UI and there's a bad way to do it. I think the way they've done it is like when you click on one of the pre-effects, it brings up the pre-effects pedal board. Like, oh, I'm working here. And then you've always got the amp at the bottom. Like once you've selected your amp and cab, specifically the cab, you don't have to like fuck with the cab, which I think a lot of people do too much. So it's pretty cool. And the effects, UA effects sound great as well. Even if you don't want the amps and cabs, they're really good. Man,
I really liked I really like the digital delay in it, funnily enough. I thought that sounded great. Like I used the 140 plate. I'm using it probably a little less now because, as I said, I'm trying to move away from some of the UA non-native versions. But the UAD 140 plate I used for like 9 years on probably every song. And the same as the 1176, like that's all in there, which is like great. I mean, I don't know if I don't really know what would happen if you just used just the effects. Like, because it's got the 1176 in there, hypothetically, you could turn off all the amp cab stuff and just like chuck that on there and run a vocal through it. Yeah. I don't know if it's like worth their time to like make it sound worse just to use it in that plugin. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure it probably sounds like the same or basically the same. So it'd be kind of interesting to experiment with that. But so actually I was quite surprised with the delay. Sometimes the way you play guitar with delay and reverb and stuff is so different to the way I use it. Because I've always been scared that I'm using too much of it. And then I play with it. I'm like, this sounds fine. And I listen to your stuff and it sounds fucking awesome. And Michael Nielsen as well. I'm like, this sounds fucking sick. But then I try and do it and it's like, oh, it's bad. But I feel like maybe it's some of the delay plugins that I use or the way I set it. It just sounds too like muddy or something. And anyway, I guess
the way you use like a delay on a vocal is really different to the way, like the transient response for one is totally different to an electric guitar or a drum or a bass, right? So it's an acquired taste, I think. And but imagine this plugin came out 10 years ago.
Oh, it would be the one. It'd be the one that everyone talks about.
It'd be mind blowing. Everyone would be using it. It's like, on one hand, it's amazing. It's a really objectively really good, but we're so conditioned to like getting all this stuff. Think of like a Neural DSP plugin again, which is a very curated thing where you get. I mean, they must just wrap the same set of boosts and reverb and delay into every fucking archetype, right, and resell it. So it's for everyone who wants to kind of critique UA for some of their stuff. I guess it's also valid for a bunch of other companies, which are like, hey, it's a modded 5150, a Friedman, and a deluxe reverb with 2 post effects and 3 pre-effects and a movable mic cab sim. Pay up.
Yep. I mean, really, like Neural and Neural on one hand and this UAD on the other. It's like that's the two sides of the coin, right? Like they don't need to cross over. If you want the old man stuff, you get the UAD. If you want the modern, like precise, over processed stuff, get the Neural stuff. It's like,
and that's the thing. You want a good set of high gain amps in the UA thing. Just get like Archetype Gojira. There you go.
Yeah, you're not going to get any better than that. So
there's the rest of it, dog.
it probably just said it speaks to the fact that like, you know, not everyone or not everything has to be good at everything. You can just live in a niche, and I suppose that's kind of okay. So yeah, again, I'm not I don't want to like sound too fanboy about the UAD stuff because I really don't give a shit. I'm going to use it because I bought it. But I also
see, really I did the 2-week trial, and I probably won't buy it, but you know, it's fun to play around with. And you know what I love doing, Troy? You know, say like the Valhalla plugins, right? They're $50. Yep. You know, every time they come out with something, I'm just like, I should just give Valhalla $50 because I've got more than $50 worth of use out of their free plugins that they do. But like, say Valhalla
I talked
Delay.
About that. Yep, go on.
Right? You bring up Valhalla Delay and you scroll some of the presets, and some of them are so good and they do things that you would never have thought of, that it's like, you know what? I'll pay $50 for this just so I can have that preset, so that I can learn what that preset is doing, so that I can then do that preset in every other delay that I have in my life. And then that's like a piece of knowledge that I've, you know, that's cheaper than a guitar lesson most places, right? $50.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get those presets, these UA presets. And what I really liked, the video launch that they did, if you haven't watched it, highly recommend. It's just James Santiago sitting there going through some of the sounds and like fucking explaining how a studio guitar sound works. It's
all right.
Gold. He's just like, cool, so it's a plexi, and you know, Eddie did this and this and this, and you put a bit of studio EQ on, maybe a bit of this compressor, because you can hear on the recording, like, you know, they've blended in the room mics, but they've put like, you know, an 1176 on the rooms and stuff like that. Their room sim's really good too, right? I think that's part of the.
I liked that, yeah.
Part of the mojo with it. So that video, I think, is just awesome, and he plays so many different styles really, really well. And yeah, it's just like, even if you don't have any interest in the plugin, watch that video, learn things from someone who's been doing it for a long time, who is very good.
Yep, absolutely. Well, so I did buy this thing because I thought, like, I think it's because it's Black Friday time and I've spent money on plugins. So I'm just like, they got me like that. I'm in the mood to spend money. So yeah, I was happy to get it as to cover like that level of sound. And yeah, I'm like, I'll get use out of it, so it'll be fine. What I was going to say to you, by the way, is I had this like brief 12-hour period, like a week, less than a week ago, where I was like, fucking like detune, like stereo detune. I just don't think I know enough about it. I better like do a bit of research. So I jumped on YouTube, and what pops up first is
the first 50 videos are just,
hey guys, how about we like listen to all these different stereo detunes between the SPX90 and the Eventide H9 and blah 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 blah. And obviously I'm talking about Uncle Leon's video. So I watched all that stuff, which was quite cool. But you mentioned
they're very different in that video. Hey,
so like, different, man. And Troy, I did not yeah, go on.
I have a whole lexicon of terms I use to talk about detune. You know, there's we can get into this in a little bit. It might be fun, but I won't steal your thunder just yet.
Well, I'll tell you what. How about we got other stuff to talk about, so we can do. How about next podcast we'll talk about just detune. But I was going to say
before we do, I'll just throw out some terms: tight and loose for detune. So the four axes of detune: tight and loose.
Yep.
And then how the you can call, I guess grains isn't the right term. What do they normally call them? How the splicing interpolation algorithm works.
Right.
And you can, yeah, I've wasted way too many hours. Like the H3000 has 2 different micro pitch presets in there, and they like splice differently. And if you have a listen to the classic Eddie preset 231, you can hear you can hear the glitches, and then there's another one which has this really smooth thing happening, which I think a lot of modern detuners do, but they're not all made alike, and every single like hardware modeler does them differently. And yeah, it's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing.
Well, man, as I was watching your video, and to be fair, I was listening in my car, so it's not like it's the greatest thing, but the one that stood out to me the most was the Valhalla one, the Super something. What was it called? The well, maybe it wasn't Super. It goes with an S, but it was free. And I was like, Space Modulator, yeah, that one. So man, this sounds wicked, and it has. I'm pretty sure they model the Eventide patches that you just said in that plugin,
Yeah.
But that one, I was like, man, this is sick. I think I was trying it. I was doing a rough mix for somebody, and I just wanted to mess around with some guitar stuff. So I'm like, oh, well, let's finally try some detune stuff. Because you and like, I just there's some rack stuff that I just never cared about that much, and detune and stereoizing stuff is one of them. So like you sickos, like you and Nielsen and Torin, and I got a little bit of catching up to do. So it was fun. You know which one I didn't like, by the way? I didn't like the H9 one. I thought that sounded really
good. It's interesting. I can talk about that more in another video, but yeah, it's the man. It's so funny. It's just such a funny effect. I feel like though I got from you years ago. You were, we talking about 10 years ago. We were tracking back to zero around this time. We're doing a lot of quad tracking, and then a few years later, you were like, yeah, I'm just kind of back to doubling guitars. And I swear you were like, oh, you know what you can do? Maybe I didn't get this from you. Maybe I got it from someone else. Maybe we were just talking about it. No. Shout out to my buddy Carl in Canada, who's an awesome audio engineer and was having some guitar lessons with me for a while. He was getting up at like 6 a.m. in the Canadian winter just to have a lesson with me so we could play Megadeth songs. And he got an original H3000. He was like, oh, hey, man, you want to know a really good trick? I actually got quite a few good tricks from him. One was like, you've got like a lexicon reverb, put the detune after the reverb to make it sound wider.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if people have seen my Axe Effects presets, that's why I do that. Shout out to Carl. But his thing was like, if you want to do a lazy quad track, you do a double and you put micro pitch on the guitar bus. And that's like, I do that all the time for doing demos at home. Just like a little bit, like just a little bit. And you get this kind of like, it's got to be on the bus though. Like you do each one. It's not as cool. You need a doubled thing, and then you run that through the micro pitch, and it kind of like, I don't know, like smears it. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And you need like 3% mix.
That's the weird thing about detune, because the more you do it, the more you spread stuff, the more smeared it becomes.
Yeah.
So there's a point where like, and the same thing goes for adding lots of reverb and delay too, where there's part of me that's still stuck in like the 2000s or the 90s where stuff's a bit drier, and I want articulation. So I kind of feel like I'm always too scared to push that stuff too far. And then when I hear other people do it, it's like, of course, that's it. Like that's what I've been looking for all this time. And it was funny, like watching that video of yours with the detune stuff. And I think you played Self-Censored, that song.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, like that's the sound that we should have got back then. I should just put fucking micro pitch on it and it would have been way easier. But
we should remix that song, and just like go all 80s. Like just
that would be fun.
Ham it up just for that, because it was like rhythmic delay, kind of the Lifeson-y guitar thing. So yeah, detune's rad, but let's move right along because we talked about
I think I'm done
thing.
Talking about it's fine. Go buy it if you're into it. If not, don't do it.
To their credit as well. 2-week trial for free. That's enough time to try something. That's way better than like buying a pedal on a credit card and then returning it and not getting the shipping back, right? Way more sensible. So kudos to UA for that. And, knowing them, they probably won't add the rectifier in 5150 as an upgrade at any point. They'll do a separate thing. But guys, if you did, you carry so much good favor.
Because they do those, don't they? They do them as pedals.
Yes, correct.
Oh, that's weird then that they didn't add that, but oh well. Yeah, that's mate, fair point. Oh, one other criticism too.
Some anti-high gain conspiracy.
Yeah. And the one other criticism I had, it's very small, is I noticed you can't link like the amp and the cabinet, so you kind of have to change one and then change the other, which is it's a little bit annoying. It just is a couple of extra clicks in menu, menu clicks to get there. Whereas sometimes if I want to have a deluxe reverb, I probably want to pair that with a correct cabinet and not like go from a 4x12. But it's it's in the bucket of first world problems, man. It's not the end of the world. But anyway, absolutely. Moving on from UAD, mate, what else is on the list? Because we have a list.
Well, shout out to a long-time Gear Podcast guest collaborator, Mega Champ, Jason Tong, Headfirst Amps. They launched the Alta P1 preamp today, which is fucking sick, bro. It's so good. I did a video that came out. We're filming on Wednesday, the 3rd of December. It came out today. So yeah, I obviously love the Alta, the real amp, and we one of the loudest experiences I've ever shared is in that room with you where we took the Alta in there and like literally cranked it up to 10, you know. It's got the negative feedback control on the back where you can play around with that. I still recall just how easy that was to play guitar because it was so loud.
Yeah, that was fun, man. And I had a similar thing with the Evil Joe too. Like that was such a fun amp to play. Yeah, Jason does great work, and obviously he's modded both of our Marshalls too. So big fans of his, and I'm happy that the preamp is out and it looks great.
Yeah,
like
man, and being able to just like it, the MIDI integration is so clever as well. Like you just have your settings, and then you send a MIDI program change to it, and then you're like, yeah, I want it saved on number 3, and then you hit store, and then it's done. You can, man, having a modded Marshall, right, where you can turn the like saturation diodes or compression diodes, whatever, the Jose mod on and off with fucking MIDI is the best thing ever. Because you just like channel 2, you have it off, channel 3, you have it on, and then you've just got that instant, you know, independent volume so you can compensate for the lack of volume on there. And you just flip-flop between like a wicked modded Marshall and then the same thing with all the extra like stick and kind of thrack you get from the diodes in there. It's great.
Yeah,
really, really cool. And the clean channel is very, very good too. Just like just clean.
I thought that was underrated about his amps that I played. Like I messaged him when I played the Evil Joe, whereas like the high gain stuff was sick, and I knew that was going to be sick, but the clean was so easy to play, and I don't always have the easiest time playing a clean amp, and I'm glad it's in the preamp because
some of those anti-jackhammer cleans.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like you think about, well, like an 80A MP1 with 128 possibilities of tone, and we love that. Like we're big 80A fans. At the end of the day, man, like if you got 2 or 3 sounds, like that's enough. And you chuck some effects on. It's like, what more do you want? It's like, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. And I think he was really clever putting the 2-note stuff in there as well. I think having an IR loader it's kind of silly to not have that built into a piece of rack gear like that. Like I'm not sure what's going to happen with Synergy. I'm hoping that they bring that side of the IR stuff to like a Syn 2 because I think that'd be really useful.
That'd be great.
Because like I love it on the Syn 20. Like the IR stuff and the structure and all that sort of stuff. It's awesome. So yeah, man. But again, back to Jason's stuff. Very clever, very forward thinking, and I'm very happy that it's finally hit the
and like
the
when
shelves.
You watch his channel, he dials in great guitar sounds and plays great. It's one of those things where you know you get like playing a piece of gear where you know the person who has made it is an awesome player with awesome ears is a whole other like because you just turn it on and it's just good. You're just like, oh yeah, this is like so kind of like the UA plugin thing. If you're into those sounds, they're just there at the surface level, which you want. You don't have to dig. So yeah, super impressed. I think as well, the cool thing, having the 2-note stuff in there, but then having the ability to have a stereo effects loop as well. So if you wanted to go to front of house with like, I don't know, a fractal VP4 and have the VP4 send scene MIDI to it. And also you can, it's 3 channels, but set up your clean. Then like I was saying, you set up channel 2 and channel 3, you can set them up identically if you like, but then you use the presets or MIDI CCs, or you save the presets MIDI program changes, and you go like, preset number 1 is the clean channel. Preset number 2 is channel 2 in vintage mode. Preset number 3 is channel 2 in modern mode. Preset number 3 is channel 2 in modern mode with the saturation on. Then you go to channel 3 where you can have the same variant. So you can have, you can have an ADA number of presets on there, but with that ease of use of the preamp thing, and it's like 2 kilos as well. It's surprisingly light as well, like really well put to. It's very optimized, Yeah. You can see all
man. You
the
take
history
that,
all baked in.
Yeah, you take that, you pair it with like a 1 rack unit, like a Synergy 5050 or a like a Fryette LX2 or something like that, or something even smaller if you wanted to, and a not even a 1 rack unit effects unit. You just take like an H9, mount that in the back of it on a tray or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, man, that's that's what I would have dreamed of years ago, to have that level, like that much palette, you know?
Yeah. I think the next Whitesnake gig we do, that might be the rig. Like Alta preamp, Synergy power amp, Boss SDE3 in the loop or something, or maybe just an always on VP4 in the loop, you know, and then you've got it all. It's it's so funny because it's a lot of times I watch Jason's videos where I'm like, oh man, that's like, I need to get a piece of gear and dial in that sound right now. And it's just kind of voiced in there as a default thing. So yeah, very, very well thought out. I was speaking to him, you know, I think over a year ago, where he was like, hey, what's your opinion on like the loop? How do you get, you know, if you put the loop before the 2-note stuff, if you put it afterwards, what do you do? So his solution was to have 2 loops. You've got like you got a mono effects loop that will also go to the direct out, but then you've also got, you know, the post stereo loop. So kind of if you want it to integrate and interface with modern stuff, very, very nicely done.
It's got a rear input on it, doesn't it? Rear input jack?
It does, yep.
Yeah. I reckon in the early versions, it didn't have that, like some of the prototypes or like a picture that he showed. Right. I'm like really glad he added that in. Because like the Syn 20, the Syn 2, I've got 2 of those, but I have the 80AMP1. It's I don't know if it's how easy it is to describe this, but like the Syn 20s and the Syn 2s and the Syn 1s, you can use them to add an extra amp channel on to like a head or something like that. So there's like a feature in them that bypasses it and routes a signal to a different piece of gear. So you can also do that to route in another preamp, like a rack preamp. And that's how I've got the 80A route in my system. Yep. So it's like, perfect. It's cool to know that you could like just have I could have the Alta preamp in my rack with some Syn 2s going to the fray out to 292. And it's just like, well, like what else do you need? You know, like that's...
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, tonal nirvana.
Mate, total nirvana.
Total tonal nirvana. Smells like Teen Spirit.
Mate, what does that stand for? TTN.
Oh, me, yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Troy Tondi Nab Band, Total Tonal Nirvana. There you go.
That's what they call me in the streets.
Yeah, I met a guy in Sydney, and no idea if he listens to this, but holy shit, he was a fucking amazing guitar player. And he was playing a guitar that looked a lot like my Chilia Bell'Aurora at Chilia's place. Charles made him a custom one that had like paw prints on it. And man, this dude's name is Nirvana. And we were having a laugh. Like, I was just like, does that kind of make it difficult when you announce a gig where you're like, yeah, Nirvana is playing? And people are like, this isn't Nirvana. But yeah, incredible, like gypsy jazz, like really, really high level. You know, when you just hear someone play guitar and you're like, oh shit, who's that? Like, because that's so... And he's like a young dude as well. So Nirvana, if you're watching this, you play amazingly well and you're such a nice dude as well. So some people do have it all.
Yeah. I hate this guy. He sucks. He's better
Nuno
than me,
Betancourt syndrome.
Yeah. No, it's I was in the mood. I don't know why, but I was like listening to Shawn Lane the other day.
Were you?
And I was just kind of, and Frank Gambale, I was just in a mood. Like, I don't know what was wrong with me. I just listened to that stuff ages ago, but they like Shawn Lane Powers of 10, like that. He's got 2 albums really, but
if you're going to listen to instrumental guitar music.
Yeah, but that album's not on Spotify or Tidal or anything like that. But the other one, the Tritone Fascination is.
Yeah.
And it's a weird album. Like, it sounds weird. There's some cool songs on there, some really cool ideas, but it just sounds a bit strange. Didn't hate it. Just like, yeah, worth like, if you flick through the songs, like they all sound super different. Like it wasn't that well like crafted. No offense. Like again, guitar playing's great and there's some cool stuff on there.
Have you heard the MVP Centrifugal Funk album? Which I think is Shawn Lane, Mike Varney project, Shawn Lane, Gambale, and Brett Garsed.
I haven't heard that.
Like, you know, how terrifying do you want to get, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and the stuff Brett plays on it is, you know, Frank and Shawn are very, 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 very good players, but when you can hang with them and some of the solos Brett plays on it, you're like, yeah, that's got that thing where like you know what it's like to play in an arena with John Farnham. You've got that extra 5% of just beast mode in your playing, which no diss to the other guys because they're so good at what they do. But yeah, it's nice hearing that kind of like, oh yeah, there's that extra little bit of rocky element thrown in there. So yeah, it's terrifying.
The Shawn Lane thing was interesting, because I had the instructional videos years ago that I used to watch a lot when I used to try and play guitar instead of just like rocking up and play some open chords. But I kind of forgot what amps he used. Do you remember? I can tell you, but do you remember what he used?
The Geico amps or whatever they're called?
No, he used these the Jelking amps? No, not the Jelking amps. Holmes is the brand, like Sherlock Holmes.
Really?
Which I don't really know much about him. And this really strange, uncommon, what's the pedal? Nady distortion pedal, like overdrive pedal. Or Nady, I think there's another company.
Nady did a lot of wireless stuff, right?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember the pedal. It wasn't made by them originally. It was like a different company, but it was like it's just weird stuff. I feel like he was using a Watkins tape echo as well, maybe.
Yeah.
But I was really curious about the
Holmes Mississippi Bluesmaster.
Yeah, but it's a very distinct tone. Like having not listened to his music for so long, and now like having a larger vocabulary of guitar sounds, I go, man, it was cool. Like what he did. I'm sure it's one of those things where it would sound terrible if anyone else played it, but
when someone says Dumble, I always think of like Shawn Lane's guitar sound, which is incorrect because Dumbles don't sound like Shawn Lane. Back when I first heard him, I was like, oh, that's really smooth. And it has this like vowel-like kind of thing. It must be a Dumble. And Dumbles don't really sound like Shawn Lane. Spoiler alert, they sound like Robin Ford, which is still a sound.
Do you remember that video? You can all go on YouTube and watch it right now, but it's like one of the few videos of Dumble sitting with a guy and the guy's like talking
Henry
about
Kaiser.
Like, is that the guy? And he does all that weird guitar playing stuff with weird effects. What's the deal with that?
Mate, go watch it again and tell yourself that you love Henry Kaiser, because you do. Because there was a clip getting around which was like worst guitar player ever. And like Henry Kaiser knows what's up and he purposefully plays really angular shit.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing, right?
Yeah.
Was I telling you the Bill Frisell story?
Oh, yeah, you just remind me. Like
So one of my students, and shout out to Dennis, I love you, man. And this is the most whopper experience you could ever have. He was saying that he likes fusion, and we always have lots of banter about that. I'm like, don't worry, you'll come back around to not liking fusion. And really into Robin Ford, can play all that kind of stuff. Like, is a wicked guitar player. And he was saying that a bunch of his cohort at Whopper were excited because Bill Frisell was doing a show, I think, for the Perth Jazz Festival or whatever. And he was like, oh, cool, great, I'll just go along. And I was like, so did you listen to some Bill Frisell before you went down? He was like, nah, but I thought it'd just be jazz. I'll like it. And he took his granddad, because his granddad likes jazz. And it was Bill Frisell. So not like Dave Brubeck. Yeah, not Glenn Miller or Dave Brubeck, ladies and gentlemen. And he was like, yeah, I kind of didn't get it. And I was like, yeah, that's the artistic statement. You actually don't have to like it, but that's someone made, that is the world of modern jazz. Like it's not doing the trad thing. You have to exist like almost in opposition to it. And I know people who actually play jazz will be like, well, Leon, that's a very bad misrepresentation with your manosphere-centric views. But let's face it, a lot of it is purposefully challenging to listen to. That's the point. Yeah. And if you can get into that, you have to go into it with that context to enjoy it. And you can enjoy it if you have that context. But if you're just like, I want to listen to some tunes, then it kind of doesn't give you that buzz. So
if you're like, I just want to listen to some good music today. Nah, I'm going to listen to some jazz instead.
Yeah. It's sort of like, if you want to listen to some sweet jazz tunes, go and listen to Gareth Hughes solo, and he's doing that thing where it's like, that to me is amazing because mate, like people we like talk about, plays with a great sense of melody. But, then there's the cool vocab stuff in there. And long story short, the Henry Kaiser thing, I don't think many people would rank him up there with like Bill Frisell, but he's purposefully doing weird shit to be weird. And my favorite thing is the like whole tone, like hammer on pitch shifter thing, where he's just doing all this.
I'm thinking of, yeah.
It's so funny, man. It's he's just having a fat time. And you know, on one hand, yeah, how good's this? Here's the thing. You want to make fun of Henry Kaiser? We're all Henry Kaiser. We're all just like having a mad time, making cool sounds. And if you think it's awesome, that's really good. There's definitely going to be someone who thinks you're a piece of shit. So, you know,
I think you're a piece of shit, Leon.
We all know it, mate. So, you know, if you go in with that knowledge, if you know yourself, then you can have a good time. But yeah, it's. I think a lot of people totally miss the point on that one. But yeah, there's a great thing when, you know, he goes, how about a bit of blues, Dr. D? And they play a blues thing, and he plays the most mental thing you've ever heard in your life. You know what it is? It's what lead guitar sounds like to people who don't play guitar.
Yeah.
It's what shredding sounds like to people who don't play guitar, basically, where it's just like insane.
You know what it is? I got to bring this up too, because this made me laugh. Because we've been doing this podcast for like 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my partner the other day, because she's got a friend from high school that does a podcast, and she's been listening to that. She listened to 5 episodes, and I say, "Oh, cool!
Good on him.
How many episodes of the Gear podcast have you listened to?" So, she goes, "Look, I tried. I got 2 minutes in, and I can't understand a fucking word you guys are talking about." I'm like, "I get it, but also, come on, it's all about the clicks. Just don't even listen to it. Just put it on, you know." Listen hours.
Yeah, exactly. Just put it on in the background. Subscribe to Troy's YouTube.
Why don't you support me? That's what I say to her, and then, you know, melt down and cry.
Yeah.
So
if anyone wants some wholesome entertainment, look for the clip called "Worst Guitarist Ever," Henry Kaiser. And I feel like, I don't know Henry Kaiser, but I feel like he would love that is the title of that clip, where he'd just be like, "Yeah, you think you're making fun of me. You think you're laughing at me, but you're all laughing with me."
Yeah, but I'm laughing at you in secret.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mate,
no
just laugh at yourself
man.
in the mirror.
Hey, good on him. He's living his life. He's making the music. I do find that really important. And I've got students that have come through and they've given me mixes of music or stuff that they've written. And it's like kind of weird. And then you can look at it and go, that's weird. But you can also go like, right, this is actually what's happening in your brain right now.
Yeah.
And it's not what's happening in my brain. It's like, it's a complete different window. Like I appreciate that. I'm not going to like listen to it for fun, like for enjoyment, but I will learn something about somebody by listening to that sort of music.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the best thing, back to the Henry Kaiser thing, because we're on it, you know, he's got a Dumble Overdrive special. And the fucking funniest thing about it is all the other like esteemed guitar players who were deemed worthy by Dumble for him to build them an amp, you know? It was a whole thing, right? You had to be one of the boys. You're Robin Ford, you're Larry Carlton. And then there's Henry Kaiser playing that guitar solo. It is the most punk rock thing I've ever seen in my life by the least punk-looking dude ever. It's just like, it's amazing. Because like, here's my Dumble Overdrive special and then chaos. So it's like, mate, you know what it's like? The soloing Cult of Personality.
Yeah.
You know? You're like, sick. This is obviously going to have some like super quantized 16th note triplet runs in it. And then Vernon Reid just like explodes through the ceiling, rips his shirt off, and starts breakdancing. It's not like, what you expect. Like,
you know, we talked about George Lynch and the music video for Nightmare on Elm Street, that one, where he bursts in through the wall. Like, you think he's going to play like that, but he plays like George, and playing like George is great. But what he should have done is played like Vernon, just like, you know, one of those. That would have been pretty sick.
There are certain truths in life, and the fact is that if you don't like the soloing Cult of Personality, you're a square.
Man, you never really played Guitar Hero, did you?
No.
Like, yeah, because I didn't have it, but that song was in it. There was like a few times when I'd be at like, you remember it was a big thing 20 years ago, you go to parties and play Guitar Hero. It's like how are you supposed to play that solo? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's cool. It's like John Sykes solos. Like, you can't look at tab and like play it. Nah. It's just like, he's just playing notes. And that's like, that has a vibe and a feel to it. But
exactly.
Don't put it in Guitar Hero.
I'd also just love, you know, in that song, there's a part where they go to the riff and it's like boo da 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 boo da 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 dun dun dun, like that. Just that, the way they do that. I remember because I think my dad gave me a copy of Vivid, like in the first 3 weeks I was playing guitar. So I was like, that's sick. Like, I want to do those noises. Like, this is great. And also the band, like, these riffs are great. And then maybe 6 months in, he gave me a King's X CD. And I was like, you know, they do a lot of that just like stomp. And then you have the really cut up rhythmic things. And I think that's just in my DNA where I want to hear those, like, you know, you think you know what's coming. And then you get something that's so left field that you're like, but then it goes back to just like pumping.
You know what it is? It's like, you know, in The Simpsons, there's that one bit where I think Bart kisses Reverend Lovejoy's daughter, and then he's like, there's only one thing to do after this, strut. And it's like him like walking down the street with Staying Alive. It's like that. But that sort of music should be King's X and Living Colour. Just, it's walking music. It's strutting music.
Absolutely. You know? Has someone, an edit of the Bee Gees' Staying Alive music video with like Cult of Personality would be hilarious.
Yep. So, mate, we might have to wrap it up there. I think we've probably covered all the points, haven't we?
Well, I will just also give Jason an extra shout out because he sold me this.
Oh, yeah.
So now we both have a Suhr. Yeah, you got to come and play it because I feel like everything that you talk about, you know, how you love your Suhr, but there's things about it that, you know, maybe you don't, are like, I feel like you really like this.
That's cool. It doesn't have a float on it, does it? It's just a floating bridge?
No, it's a Godot 510, I think they were using at the time.
Oh, okay.
But Troy, let me tell you, mate, 5-way, bridge humbucker, neck single coil, click back one, neck humbucker. Because that's what you really want when you're playing rhythm guitar, right? Bit of strat neck, bit of strat bridge.
Yep.
It's a pretty cool wiring scheme. So, yeah, I don't know if that was a John original or John and Pete, but yeah, they make a bloody good guitar.
Yeah. Bloody ripper. So, hey, what model is it again?
It's a Modern Pro. Yeah,
Modern
so
Pro.
2012. Yeah. Because what's yours?
Mine's 2012. 2011, 2012. I got it in 2012. Yep. But, I would have played a similar guitar to that at Sam Ash, actually, in New York City. Well, around the same time.
One last story time. The next year, 2013, I went to that Sam Ash and I was hanging out there and there was like me and one other dude. And he was a Brazilian lawyer. And he was like, man, I love the way you play. Can you play all of these Suhr guitars for me? And I'm going to pick the one I like the best. And I did. I played about 20 of them. And they were all really great. And they had like a classic S for like, I don't know, it was a little over 2,000 American dollars, which was like a little under 2,000 Australian dollars at the time. And I didn't buy it because I'm a moron. So I feel like I slightly atoned for it by picking this guitar up.
It wasn't a classic S. It was the other Super Strat thing, maybe an S4 or something. I can't remember what they called it, but that was the other one I was tossing up and instead of getting my one, which I went for mine because it was a bit cooler looking, to be honest. But
I mean,
man, that guitar sounds so good. It's just a bit of Red Beach. Didn't your sisters go back to that same shop like the year after that?
No, they were there in 2013. Yeah, so I was there after them because the salesman, I think his name was like Gabriel or something.
Yeah, that's right, Gabriel. Yeah, that was
him. Yeah, he was a cool dude. And
I liked him.
I sort of walked in and he was like, what the fuck is with all these Australians coming in? He's like, just, you know, like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, they were my sisters. He was like, what? But yeah, I think he got them like tickets to go see BB King or something like that. So they had like a fat time there.
That's cool.
Small world. But yeah, and then I played all those Suhrs. And hey, if that Brazilian lawyer who was in there happens to be listening to this episode, that experience really stuck with me. He was a really nice guy.
And that man's name was Jair Bolsonaro.
And on that note, all right, let's wrap it up, big dog. A pleasure. We'll talk about Detune next week, amongst other things.
Yeah. Hey, I got a new camera, by the way, but I can't work out how to do the YouTube, like, you know, the focusy thing. I'll have to get, because then we can like finish the episode by, I'll point at you, you point at me, and it's like we're touching like ET through the camera. That'd be cool. Live sound.